Welcome to Babbling Buffoons. All babbling, all buffoonery. I'm Alex.
I'm Bill.
I'm Jack. Welcome back, guys. Last episode we had talked about exploration. And today we're going to talk about colonization outside Earth. And can we actually do it? And if we can, do you believe we can live there peacefully?
It depends.
There's a lot of ups and downs with the idea of living out there in space. Honestly, I mean, there's going to be the factors of like what I've already looked up earlier today. That the downsides they're saying is that it could affect your body on how the gravity is not going to be as stable like it is on Earth.
They said gravity on Mars is 38% less than what it is on Earth.
Well, also too, I would think too, when we fully go to like try to actually start colonizing space, we might hopefully by that time be able to have like gravity machines to make our own gravity, so that way if we make these colonized
we
cities,
probably already have it, I would think.
but that's what I'm saying. If we make these colonized cities and stuff like that, because they're going to be inside these massive dome structures, because until we can maybe learn or possibly terraform a planet to where it has an atmosphere around it, we're going to have to create domes, and we're going to need gravity inside there. So we're going to have to need like gravity generators and stuff like that.
Right.
So I don't necessarily like if we can do that, I don't think the whole gravity thing will be an issue. But say for some reason we can colonize space, but we still haven't been able to make gravity generators, then there might be a problem later on because
Here's another thing about colonizing another planet such as Mars. It doesn't have trees. It's considered a red planet. There's no growth there. Average temperature there is like negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
what, at night?
No, that's the average temperature there is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
How, when it's considered to be in the safe zone?
It's
of
another
the sun?
500 million miles away from Earth.
But it's in the safe zone for the sun, for the proper amount of heat and stuff to be able to actually be considered in a livable planet.
Right? I'm just going by what I've heard and what I've seen. Negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know. I do believe Mars has ice.
Oh, I definitely believe it's got.
And I do believe it will probably warm up if you had an actual atmosphere there around it that was similar to ours. It would warm up.
Well, yeah, because it trap the heat in and stuff like what our atmosphere does and whatnot and stuff. But also at the same time, say if we can't put an atmosphere around it, we can just put a dome like we do, like you see in the movies and stuff, and then possibly can just use the soil that's there while maintaining temperature inside and whatnot to, like what was it? What was that Matt Damon movie? Project Mars or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he used the soil there and stuff to grow potatoes and whatnot. So like, who's to say we can't do that?
And I think we could. I think that's the reason why the first people to go there and colonize it would be scientists.
Oh, definitely be scientists.
Because I couldn't see the world governments putting a large amount of people up there without a way of making food, without a way of breathing, without any things that we need that are necessity to live. I'm not talking about the other stuff like your iPhone, your Android, your laptops, your gaming system, your cars. I mean the necessities, food and water.
Well, not only that, but the machinery that would be up there that they would be using at the time and stuff would be advanced stuff. You would need very smart people to know how to, one, use it, but also, two, if it breaks, know how to replace it. If you just send your average man up there, he's not going to know how to use that stuff.
Well, let me ask you this, Billy. You brought up something about colonization. What if we just skip colonizing a planet and actually just colonize a space station and make that space station be able to travel space?
I mean, that is actually pretty much possible. But the question also remains is that not do we may probably have the intelligence, but do we have the materials?
I mean, we already have a space station up there, right? And let's put it this way. Bunkers. We have bunkers all around the world. They're all energy efficient, or self-sufficient, I should say. They also have the ability to grow crops in them. You could get, you got, indoor hydroponics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you just send pieces up into space with spacecrafts, assemble them up there, make everything? And I think I think we would be closer in doing that than what we would be actually terraforming a country or not a country, a planet that is dead right now.
You also got to look at, though, is where are they getting their energy source from on a constant basis to maintain everything on that space station? Because you got to think, we have natural energy here from the planet. They're not on the planet, so they have to have a completely different, consistent source of power that would never go away or drain on them while they're out exploring space. Or if it did, they'd have to be able to find a way to refuel it. So I think that's the big reason why
I can
they've
give you a
not
way.
pushed that.
I can give you a way, and I've been experimenting with it and
What?
trying to use it. Magnets, along with a small generator, can actually produce enough current to fill a battery, and you can actually self-sustain a home on that.
But here's the thing: what magnets are they going to use on a giant space station?
Giant magnets, dude.
But at the same time, is that going to are those magnets and whatever possible setup they might have going to be enough to fill whatever batteries that they got? Because you got to think that is a giant space station, and you know those batteries that they're going to have are going to be huge, 'cause of the amount of power
they'll need cooling and everything like that as well. But
But at the
if
same
they're going to do something like that, you could get endless energy for free.
it's possible.
Well,
I have a diagram of using magnets along with a car stator and a you can use it. You can power a Tesla battery with that to keep it charged, and it costs nothing. You just engage the magnets to where they press against each other and spin, and that right there, if you have a rod going into where the stator's at turning, that's going to create electrical current, which you can then harness into energy into a battery.
well,
And that right there could help you colonize space and freely roam. Now, like you guys said in our last video, what are we going to use to move?
well, before we move into that part, the stuff that I've been looking into since, I'd like to say since 2012, because you remember the real life Gundam that they have in Japan that they have been.
Yeah.
I've been keeping tabs on how they're constructing it and everything. They ran into problems with the construction of how they're going to actually power it. Yes, it's hooked up to a manual powering battery system, but the other issue that they were having was a heating converter system that was helped to generate the power into it.
Yeah.
That was the one problem they were having, and they finally figured out the issue with what was going on with it is that it wasn't putting out enough energy to last longer than an hour. It was only lasting within like maybe a split couple of seconds. So they had to re-divert most of it into a different design in order to maintain its power structure, and it was all being ran through from plutonium.
And that's one of the materials that we have that can give us that, but not for very long, because when you have power sources like what Billy said, that sucks all of that energy out of that, and now it's depleted like that. So that's why I'm saying, like, you have the magnets, yes, but the biggest issue is the batteries themselves. That's where our problem still lies, is trying to figure out how we can build something that's like this but can power, say,
It wouldn't be something small. If they were magnets and they were going to be generating something.
no,
it
not
would
the
be
magnets.
small.
I'm saying the batteries themselves. Like that's always been our thing. Because, that's the reason why we don't really have big mechs or exosuits and stuff, is because we have yet to figure out how to make a battery like something like this, but able to put. Basically, we're trying to make arc reactors. We haven't, like Iron Man, like how it says it gets off like 2.4 gigawatts of power.
Yeah, which is an insane amount.
Yeah. We're trying to make that. If we can figure out how to make something like that, then yeah, we would have exosuits, we would have Gundams and big mechs and stuff, and yeah, we probably could have more stuff along the space lines. But that's where the power lies. Is we're trying to figure out how to make something small but crank like crazy, and that's where our issue, I think, lies, and why we haven't been able to really go far and beyond with exploring space, but then also possibly even colonizing space and whatnot. That's why I think Musk has been so into electronic batteries and stuff, to try to figure out a way to minimize it to where, like I said, it can shrink but crank.
Yeah.
Or there could be a way to do like a process of where you could utilize the battery a little bit more by like recycling its energy
Right.
source. I mean, that's also an option too. I mean, you can take plutonium and have it generated into a battery and then somehow have it connected to a source of power where it can help recycle that used energy to help repower it.
Now, if you are one of the people, and I'm one of the people that believe in aliens
Oh, yeah.
visiting Earth,
Definitely.
if they have and they have crashed, we have the source.
Well, we might also,
We might not have the materials. We might be trying to replicate that source.
Yeah, because we could have possibly reverse engineered some of their stuff and whatnot. But yeah, just like you said, either we might not have the material or we might not have yet discovered the material.
Right.
Because who's to know what other kinds of different metals and stuff are farther underneath the earth that we just haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if Mars is really negative 80 Fahrenheit, you wouldn't be able to drill. You wouldn't be able to mine. Our equipment in Alaska has to be shut off when they're gold miners when it gets too cold because the ground freezes too much and the machinery doesn't function well.
Because a lot of the liquids freeze up and whatnot. Like, yeah, we got coolants that can go so far as to like stay good in certain temperatures. But yeah, we haven't gotten anything to where it's like negative 200, 300 some degrees or whatnot to where it'll still be like, no, it won't freeze.
Yeah, even mining in Australia when it gets really, really hot out there, they got to shut all their machineries down and mining's done. So you got both extremes. It's just if what I read was correct, if Mars is really negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit, what? I don't know. How are you going to do anything?
I mean, the only way to be able to do anything is just creating biomes inside and whatnot just to do stuff, that'd probably be the only way.
Yeah,
Either that or we just have to go further along with drilling and whatnot. Because eventually I feel like I said, if we can get that battery thing figured out, we could drilling would actually be fixed because we would then start using, like laser cutters and stuff like that for drilling instead of actual metal drills. So imagine how deep a laser cut drill could go compared to like a metal drill.
I would be able to go down real far. Like it almost could split a planet in half if it wanted to.
Well, depending on how strong you make it and whatnot.
Of course.
But
But I'm just using
I
it
don't
as
want to
an
be
example.
I don't want to be sitting on a planet and it's just like, and we're okay now. Okay, the world is flat.
But then also too, like I said, right there, that solves the temperature problem because those don't really need to worry about temperature. It's just pure energy being shot out of it. The only thing you have to worry about is the battery lasting.
This is why I'm glad I'm not a scientist. I just want to go when it's done.
You just don't want to do the work.
No, that's the scary work.
I would actually love to be a part of that. Be learning how to do all that stuff, trying to put
I
my
would
mind
too.
to that.
I would too. I'm on for that.
I can go get you food if there's animals on there.
They could be underground. We don't know.
No, you don't know. Like I said, that planet could have been alive at once, which I believe it was. Mm-hmm. I do believe it was.
Plus, on top of like space exploration, we have Mars, but like I said, what if like we can make ships that go past beyond our own galaxy and start going to others, and then try to start terraforming those,
Yeah. Well, what if we were a colonization? Because a lot of people are starting to point out that we're not from this planet.
It's possible we might not be.
But yeah, it's just people talking. But what if we were a colonization and our minds were wiped?
It's possible. I mean, it could very well be possible, dude, like on some of this stuff because, like, we've yet to really find, like, a common ancestor to link us to, like, evolution here to a degree.
Right.
We only have, like, the closest relative we have is it the gorilla or the ape, one of the two? Or
I'm not sure.
It's someone in the monkey family to a degree, but it's like we have different other species of Homo sapiens that have been discovered here that just don't exist anymore. So, yeah, who's to say we might not have been we could have been planted here to take over as the dominant species.
Like I said, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe in everything. But again, Adam was made from God's own image. I'm not saying God is an alien.
But he could be.
But maybe Eve was brought in to, accompany him, and we just were a colony that was started. I'd like to say no because I am a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I read it and stuff, but my mind wanders.
I mean, who's to say the Garden of Eden couldn't have been the ship yourself that you were on, and then, when you were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, that was you being sent down to the planet to, start the journey of...
Yeah, working for corporations. But no, exploration and colonization. I'm gonna be dead by the time that happens. But I would.
Oh,
I wish I
yeah.
was a young man at that time. I'd probably sign up for it in a heartbeat.
What I would love to, what I would have loved to have lived long enough to see, and it's been theorized to do so, but we don't know if we'll ever be able to do it. And I forget exactly what it's called, but basically, we build a giant like metal structure around the sun to where we're able to just absorb all of its energy, like right then and there, and just distribute it out throughout the galaxy. It's like certain steps of like space, like of colonization things. I saw a clip on a Joe Rogan thing talking to a scientist about it, and I really, really wish I could remember what it was. But it's the concept that he had on the stage 3 of us colonizing and how it was built. I was like, that is awesome. I was like, but I will be long gone before that even happens.
Yeah, the sun is so big. That'd be something.
I mean, but that's just one sun.
Right.
There's different other suns. We got red suns, white suns, yellow suns, all different others and stuff. Like I said, red giants, red dwarves, yellow giants, white giants. What amazes me is that you have some suns that are smaller than ours but give off more heat and power than what ours does.
Right.
Then you have others that are bigger than ours, and you would think it'd give off more, but it doesn't. It's an amazing thing. What do you think, Billy?
I think we'll be getting close. Maybe not in our lifetime, but I'd say maybe about 20 more years from now to 40 more years from now, maybe.
Yeah, I was reading 2100 is when they plan on having a full-fledged colony on Mars. Scientists there by like 2060, 2080, I believe it was. A full-fledged colony of actual people.
I do wonder what we can find at Mars, especially once we actually colonize it.
Well, what if they actually did find something?
We don't. I mean, that'd be awesome. But then at the same time, here's the question. Here's the big question: if they do discover life on Mars, what impact do you think that would have just on the world?
It would change everything that we think of.
Like, even if it
And
was
how we
just a
see it.
microscopic organism, that's still proof of life. Like I said, like, do you think that they would tell people, or do you think they
No.
keep that to themselves?
No,
They
governments
would
would keep them to themselves.
Yeah, they would stay with them because they wouldn't want there to be panic around the world because that's what it would lead to because they're going to start thinking, oh, we found one little thing of life and that's going to make everybody question, like, is there anything more besides that living there?
And then what have you not told us in the past and stuff?
Well, not
I
only
think it
that,
just-
do you
I
think it would just shake the whole faith foundation everywhere?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
I think it would a little bit. I think a lot of different faiths would be shaken up by that.
No, because you have. I don't want to be mean to people because I'm not going to say names, but you have those Christians that are Christian when they want to be. But then you have those Christians that wholeheartedly believe in the Bible, live their life by it, everything. They pay their dues, they pay their tithes, they go to church religiously, they read the Bible. They can literally probably read the Bible to you right now, not have it in front of their face. Mm-hmm. You got so many other religions. You got Buddhism, you got Muslims,
Hinduism,
and everything,
yeah.
and it would shake some of it,
Like I
but
said,
it wouldn't tear down the religion, unless you had an alien come and say, "Hey, why'd you kill my son?" and say it Jesus.
Yeah,
That would probably then break religion, because the main two religions I know of, Islamic faith and Christian, they both have Jesus in it, and that would be like, oh.
yeah.
Even though one's considered a son of God, one's considered a prophet, still is like, okay, you just shattered two main religions that's keeping people, in my opinion, in check.
I don't know. I think it could be for the betterment of the world.
But I think that's why we can't explore and we can't colonize, because we're against each other.
Oh, yeah.
I think the technology's been given to us over time. Like you said, we got the boom in certain eras, and we hit a big boom just not too long ago in technology. I think that's it for a while.
Yeah.
I think that was given to us to see what we would do with it. And
Well, I mean,
we're making weapons out of it.
That's all we want to do.
Yeah. What alien race visits us that might be peaceful wants to help us if we're wanting to destroy each other?
But at the same time, you also have to look and whatnot, every race that comes in peace also has ways to defend themselves as well. So you have to look at it from that perspective. yeah, we can go and explore and come in peace, but also too, if say we come in peace to a planet, but they're like, no, we don't want peace, we want hostility. I would still rather have a way to defend myself than to just go out there completely unarmed, you know, on a ship that's just there to travel for space for peace. Like, I'd at least want some kind of weaponry as
So
well.
let's say we get the technology colonized, and we go and colonize Mars. Russia gets it too. China gets it. Other countries get it, and they go up there. We're gonna have the same problems that we have down here. So you really think we're gonna be able to colonize?
It'd be a whole different world of problems. And by that time, like I said, at that point in time when we finally, I think, truly go to colonize, the world will finally reach a point where they have to realize it's either we really have to work together or we are actually all gonna die. Even the rich and elite that can hide in their bunkers and stuff like that, you can maintain your food. But if you can't maintain the surface, what's the point? You're going to die out eventually too with no one down there with you. So it's like the whole planet goes extinct. So it's like either we choose to work together to truly survive, or we all just say and die.
And on a note on that one, to be honest with you guys, I feel like that the only way they're going to come together is if the planet's in a very bad crisis.
Yep.
Like close to extinction type crisis if they decide to actually try and pull that one.
I think if you go to an extinction or an apocalypse types of beings, it wouldn't pull us together. It'd break the world. All leadership would be gone, and the world would just go back to reset mode, basically.
It would try to.
Yeah. Now, if you get an alien invasion or something like that, I think that would bring the world completely together and be like, all right, these guys are coming to us.
But it could also break it too, because you got to think a lot of faiths and whatnot, would be shattered, and they'd be like, "What's the point?" And then they could cause hysteria and problems. And that's just, I'm saying that's faith. There's not just the regular people themselves that couldn't cause hysteria, because they'd be like, "Hey," like.
Well, there's gonna be hysteria if an alien race came and tried to, colonize our planet while we're here. And that brings us back to the exploration video before. If we go and explore and we find a planet with stuff on it, we should just leave it alone. Not colonize it. Go to a planet that doesn't have indigenous life form of some type of intelligence, and then we colonize that planet. Like Mars. They say they haven't found anything. Okay, let's try to colonize Mars. Mm-hmm. But realistically, the ultimate goal, I believe, for colonization is going to a planet similar to ours, with a sun, or maybe two suns, plenty of water and a plenty of landmass.
Yeah.
Because if there's landmass and water, there's minerals.
Yep.
But there is another other option besides planet colonization.
There's space station colonization.
There's ones, but I don't know if the ones that I'm thinking about are identical to space stations. Because the ones that I'm thinking about are more in tune with being able to transport other people in living conditions to be able to live inside of them.
Yeah, I think I've seen a...
Are you talking about like a bioship?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen a mock-up of something that it was proposed, I want to say, by Elon and another scientist. It's like a 300-meter long bioship.
Yeah.
That actually has a civilization that you could live in there while traveling how many light years you need to do to go to another planet.
All it would do is it creates artificial light, the oxygen's recycled, you use the plants there for the water, it's literally just basically a giant
floating hotel.
Yeah, floating biodome inside space, and you just use it to travel and whatnot.
And honestly, I think that's probably where we're closest to.
That's probably honestly what we're gonna have to do to travel through space and whatnot.
Unless you said warp drive.
Yeah, warp drive, or somehow, some way we create a synthesizer, or
I did just remember about this part too. I don't know how I forgot this. Or if they have to, because I just remembered on some of my shows, some of the space colonies that they have wasn't really just running on regular energy. They were running on solar energy.
Right.
Oh, that would definitely be a thing. Like they would.
But the deeper you get into space, the less solar energy you'll have.
Well, I mean, you can still charge up and get what you can and whatnot too, and stuff like that. Right. Because also too, like you said, depending on say where you go, could have 2 suns, 3 suns.
Yeah, you never know.
Could have one just really big sun, or it could have a small one that's just giving off so much energy and power and whatnot. You might just need 15 minutes of a charge. And be like, okay, we're done for the day.
Right.
But
I think you're right on that. I think we're looking at more like exploring, colonizing a bioship. Probably.
crafting a biodome ship and whatnot because
Exactly. It was huge. This ship was huge that I seen.
Because think about it,
massive.
majority of what they would eat would be fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
You know, they would have chickens on there for protein because you know they'd have chickens for eggs because there's your protein right there, your meat source. You know, if need be
Right.
and whatnot, they'd probably have like fish. You know, that could be bred easily to maintain another source of protein and whatnot. But yeah, it's possible to make the ship. It's just I think the issue that we're having is materials to get past, you know, the atmosphere and stuff and to maintain the heat and outside the ship, but also too
making it pretty much dang near indestructible.
Yeah.
Because the bigger the ship are, the more problems you can run into with asteroids hitting it and whatnot.
well, not even that, just all the floating debris that we supposedly have just floating around our Earth at right now in
I don't
general.
get how we have that, but yeah.
All the constant satellites being launched up there because you got to think like we're sending a satellite, but we got like what 2 to 3 fuel jet tankers that are flying up there. Then you
That
got
depart from it,
then you
yeah.
got the release pod that opens on the side to let the satellite go and. How, like who knows how many countries have launched different satellites and
Oh,
stuff
I know,
up
yeah,
there.
it's
You know what
insane.
I'm saying? So
But I do want to, you know, say thank you, Billy, for bringing that stuff up. And I do believe your bio ship is probably what we're in store for when it comes to colonization. I don't know if we go to Mars if we'll have, you know, the ability to actually terraform that. But the bio ship, that would be interesting. Absolutely. We might have to do some thinking on that and digging in on
I
that.
sent you some
and
pictures as well too. So
we might have to get that for another video. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I think a bio ship discussion would be fun.
well, not
Oh,
only
heck
that, but the
yes.
other aspects of it, like you know, what equipment do you think it should possibly need? Because I know for a fact you would still need a mech suit for certain repairs and stuff like that on that ship.
You're gonna need that for sure.
Yeah.
But guys, we're gonna get off here. Kind of enjoy our time, but let's hear what you got to say. I do want comments in the comment section if I can get that working, because I know that it hasn't been working lately. But if it is, leave a comment. We want to do a spicy video. We want to do a heated debate video. So give us some topics down there that we could hit on. Please leave religion out of it.
And politics.
I don't mind politics. I don't mind politics.
It's not that I don't
only
mind.
because
I don't mind, but at the same time, I just don't feel like getting into it. Like those two, we'll just leave off the table for fairness. Everything else is 100% fair game.
fair enough. But until next time, guys, remember we do post every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you guys can, please hit that like button, share the video so we can get out there and get known a little bit more. Until then.
Definitely subscribe. But this has been Babbling Buffoons. All babbling, all
All
buffoonery.
buffoonery.